There's a lot of stuff going on in chat. Unfortunately, we opened Pandora's box, especially with
Learned it.
stuff about the Kabbalah. Nobody here
I
is
don't know anything about
promoting.
it.
Right, we're not. I'm not promoting any kind of religion. I'm not. Okay, the Kabbalah is just a thing that you can study. It's not going to demonize your life. It's just a thing to read a book. Just read a
You
book. It's
dumb
not going
bitch.
to hurt. But nobody is promoting that here. Nobody's saying,
I
"Oh,
don't. I
you
don't
know."
know any. I don't know what it is, so I can't say yes or no. I'm just like,
Yeah, so just
okay,
just let it go.
just
It's
trying to
okay.
learn.
It's not gonna hurt anybody. We're okay.
They joined the church a little bit after I was born, and we all got sealed in the temple together as a family. I can
Prayer.
actually remember it in my mind. I was like 2 years old, and that's
Oh my
probably
god!
earliest memory of us
Wow.
sitting around that little cushion thing and
I wonder
holding
if it
hands.
traumatized you.
I don't know. What traumatized me was we got sealed in the Mesa, Arizona temple.
Holy shit, that's evil.
But
Well, whatever some of these
there was
people
a
are doing in there is evil for sure. Okay.
there was a cactus outside of it, and I pricked my finger on one of those little cactus needles. That traumatized me
There you
because my
go.
dad's like, don't touch it, and I touched it anyway, and it hurt.
Were
me.
you a sign
So-
seeker?
Reaching for it, she pricked her finger, and 3 drops of blood fell.
Because that was it, but it's like, you know,
Today, I'm going to be discussing the Kabbalah of Mormonism, where Mormonism came from, the relationship of Mormonism to Zionism from the very beginning. Mormonism was founded by Joseph Smith, but it was built on the model of Mordecai Manuel Noah. It was founded by Joseph Smith Jr., a name with deep Kabbalistic meanings to the Sephardic Jew and Freemason Mordecai Manuel Noah, who was operating in New York State to create a Jewish colony for eventual transport to Palestine. Noah was the real founder of modern Zionism. I've been talking about him for many decades. I reproduced all of his works in the early editions of my book, The Jewish Genocide of Armenian Christians, which I put up on the web for free as a PDF. I generated interest in Noah around the world. I revived his memory. I was the first person to do that in the modern era. And I pointed out in my book, The Jewish Genocide of Armenian Christians, that it was Noah who slated America to be the homeland of Zionism and to provide the military support for Israel, both for establishing Israel and maintaining Israel. And that role was initially scripted for Joseph Smith and Mormonism. Mormonism was to create an American Zion, to be the Sitra Achra, the Gentile evil other side of Jerusalem in Palestine for the Jews. Joseph Smith Jr.'s name to a Kabbalist means Joseph. Since he is a junior, his father's name was also Joseph. So he is the Gentile Messiah, son of Joseph. Smith means that he is one of the 4 Smiths in Zechariah chapter 1, verses 18 through 21. I was the first person to point out how significant that is for Jesus Christ being one of those, or 2 of those 4 Smiths who annihilate the Gentile nations, the horns that wipe out the Gentiles. So Joseph Smith is one of those 4 Smiths, those 4 carpenters, those 4 demiurges. Mordecai Emanuel Noah was Messiah, son of David, the Sephardic Freemasonic Jew who was the counterpart to Messiah, son of Joseph, Joseph Smith Jr. Mordecai is the Messiah, was the Messiah, son of David, of his generation, to the Messiah, son of Joseph, Haman. So Joseph Smith Jr. was playing the role of Haman to set up the Mormons and the Americans to be the soldiers and the slaves, the Esau. Esau's birthright is to be the soldier and slave of Jacob to Mordecai Emanuel Noah's Messiah, son of David. Now later, the Mormons and Noah pretended to fight in the press because the Mormons were then playing the role of Armilus in the battle of Armilus, between Armilus and the Messiah of the Jews. But I don't want to digress or get too esoteric on all of you people just yet. Maybe I'll elucidate all of that and build on that work in future presentations. I just want to let you know those are two very important characters in the history of Zionism, and they set up America to be the maintainer, the Amalek, the shell that protects, the kernel, the spark, the holy spark of the Jewish Zionist movement to be set up in America. Was Mordecai Emanuel Noah's plan. As I said, he was obviously working for the Rothschilds, and I believe that Joseph Smith Jr. was doing the same. And a lot of their beliefs can be found in Rosicrucianism, in Freemasonry, and the source of Rosicrucianism and Freemasonry, Kabbalah. Smith taught that God was a man like Adam Kadmon, like Phanes Protogenes, like Jesus Christ, who came as Adam and had Eve. Now, the Adam and Eve of the Gentiles is Samael. So the God of Mormonism is Samael. And I'm going to really go deeply into all of this and explain these esoteric and little discussed Mormon beliefs. The Mormons are taught to believe that since man was created in God's image, God was a man and is a man living on another heavenly planet. And men can become gods through marrying the proper wives, bearing children, and gaining knowledge. It was knowledge that was gifted to Adam and Eve that made them like us being the Elohim, being the gods. So the Mormons, quite intelligently, teach the idea that man has to acquire knowledge and become a master of the sciences and technology in order to become gods ourselves. And the Mormons teach that ultimately this will lead to men traveling to their own planets to found their own kingdoms and to become gods of those planets. Gods being planets is an ancient idea found throughout the ancients of Europe and the Middle East. It is very much tied in also with Hinduism in India, this idea of traveling to the planets and becoming like the gods and the gods of the various planets. The Romans and Greeks named the planets after the gods who ruled those planets. The ruler of the planet Mars is Samael, who I believe is the god of Mormonism. Samael impregnated Eve with Cain to become Joseph. Joseph Smith referred to the Book of Mormon as the stick of Joseph. That makes the Torah of Mordecai Emanuel the stick of Judah. The two sticks are to become one, and the Mormons always taught that they would establish their temple with the Holy of Holies in the Zion of America, and they would assist the Jews, the stick of Judah, to set up a temple in Jerusalem and to restore the Jews to Palestine. Smith also took from Mordecai Emanuel Noah the idea that there was an ancient America and that the Indian tribes are lost tribes of Israelites. Mordecai Emanuel Noah, in turn, got that idea from Manasseh ben Israel, who was behind Cromwell and the Protestant and the Puritan movement in Great Britain, in England, to behead Charles I in the English Revolution and put the Judaized Puritans in power so that the Jews could return to England and take over England and establish the Bank of England, as they shortly did. It was the Sephardic Jews of Holland that had left Spain and had a grudge against Catholics and English Catholics, and especially Spanish Catholics. And they set up the English to defeat the Spanish, and they funded Cromwell and the Puritans to engage in an early Bolshevik revolution in England. Again, I don't want to digress too much. I've been covering these subjects for 30 years. If you've been following my work, you're familiar with all of that. But very importantly, the Book of Mormon discusses this concept of an ancient America. And the Mormons are searching through the ruins of ancient America to try to learn more about it and to try to vindicate and validate what it was that Joseph Smith Jr. wrote about and talked about. All of that is now being discussed by Tucker Carlson, Roseanne Barr, and Joe Rogan. Mormonism, since it believes that there are gods on other planets and the chief god is on another planet, is looked to by UFO people for the idea that these gods will come to us as in the form of what are popularly conceived of as aliens, which will be the gods of the Mormons, who are men like us, but have become more advanced by pursuing science and technology, because each man has the potential to become God, because we are created in the image of the gods, and because we receive knowledge that makes us like the gods, like the Elohim. So that's all a big hot topic now. The CIA is obviously involved with the Mormons and with staging Project Bluebeam and the whole UFO nonsense that they're foisting upon us with Jews from Harvard University and through various and multiple other means.
It's not going to demonize your life. It's not going to hurt anybody. We're okay.